Hello, Lovelace. Welcome to today's English lesson, which continues our work on biographies, and in particular, finishing and using our box up to actually create the finished product. Okay, now I know I'm on the wrong side of the screen today, but that's simply because I know what's coming. So we're going to start with a reminder of what is in our toolkit. Okay, so for a biography, first of all, let's think of the features, the things that actually should be going in there. These are really just basically the headings for with our box up. So we start with the dates. When did this person live? When were they born? Can we be specific, or do we need that little C for circa? Is it about? So how specific can we be? But when were they born? When did they born? Try again. When were they born? And then when did they sadly die? We need a title. So who's this biography actually about? In your case, William Shakespeare. We know that, so I'll give you that bit of information. We need an introduction. That first part, that opening paragraph that just sows the seed. It just gives the readers the basic information. Who are we talking about? Who is this person? Maybe there are people out there who've never heard of William Shakespeare, and they just need a couple of sentences to tell them who he is, what he did, why is he famous. Then we move on to early life. We know when this person was born, but where were they born? Who were they born to? So who were their parents? What school did they go to? If we can find out, what were they like at school? Okay, what sorts of things did they achieve there? And school starts all the way from our primary, so as a young child, right the way through their education. So right the way through to colleges and universities. Okay. Any interesting events that took place at this early stage of their life? Okay, so any facts, any bits of information you've stumbled across in your research that might go in there that occurred early on in the person's life. We make sure it's in chronological order as far as is possible. If you're starting with events in their early life, and then you move on to jobs and careers, and then you move on to end of life, then you've maintained that chronology. You've kept things in date order, okay? Any important life events, those things that maybe have steered the course of their life, made them make choices as regards career or hobbies, or the things that actually made them famous. Then we look at the things that link to their career. What was it, do you think, during their education, during those early years, that made them take on a particular career? Then talk about it. So their actual job, what they spent most of their life doing. Did they change? Did they move from one job to another? Did they work for different people? Did they develop new skills? Okay. Why is that particular job, that particular role become so famous in history? Any events that changed their life during this time? Did they change careers? Did they change jobs? Did they change their focus and work on in different areas? And then end of life. How did their life come to an end? Were there any particular events around that time? Was it suspicious? Was it strange? Was it simply old age or illness? So what brought their life to an end? And then finally, any additional information, anything you want to add, anything that's not quite fitted into one of the other paragraphs. A little summary just to wrap up, sum up this person's life. Okay? How successful they were, how respected they were, all those sorts of things. Then we look at the grammar. What makes our writing good for a biography? Well, first of all, you should be writing in the third person. We are talking about somebody else. So we should be using he, she, they, not I, we, and so on. So not the first person. This should be in the third person. You're talking about another person. It's not an autobiography. It is just a biography. Use of specific dates. If you've done your box up well, if you've done your research well, you should have lots of dates to throw into your biography. So be as specific, as precise as you can be. Past tense. These things have already happened. Even if your biography was about someone who was alive, which it isn't, but even if it was, Most of a biography will be in the past tense because these events have already taken place. Additional information. Remember, there's 3 ways of adding additional information, 3 ways of adding parenthesis. The first one is between 2 commas. So if you want to add a little extra information to a sentence, slot it in between a couple of commas. Time connectives, starting paragraphs with time connectives to show that time has passed, has moved on. Okay. Indicate a new year, indicate a new decade, indicate a new stage of that person's life. The use of brackets, we've mentioned commas already. Brackets are another way of showing extra information, and dashes, hyphens are the third way. Colons, if you've got a list of information in there, then a colon should introduce the start of that list, and then a comma between each item within that list. Unless, of course, each item is a short phrase itself, in which case we can use a semicolon, a slightly more extended pause than a comma. Okay, so if it's just a list of words, then commas to break them up. If it's a list of short phrases, then semicolons break up that list for you. Fronted adverbials, starting your sentence with an indicator of where, when, how, why something happened. Okay. Oh, another fronted adverbials, that's repeated, sorry. Apostrophes. If you're indicating that something is owned by someone, then apostrophe S to show ownership. And formal language. Be as correct and precise in your choice of English as you can be. This is not a little chat. This is not an informal letter. This is a correct piece of writing, which shows respect for the person you're writing about. Okay, so really good quality English, good word choices. Okay, so all of these tools, if you're able to tick these boxes that you've done these things, you should be able to put together a wonderful biography. Now, remember your box up. That should be complete now. That is your plan. You've got your sequence, so that the box up has allowed you to put all your information, all your research in the correct order. So it'll help you make sure that your writing stays on task. It'll keep you focused. This forms, your box up is basically the skeleton, and you're about to put the meat on the bones. It's also going to help you to check that your chronology is correct, that you've not gone sort of drifting off in the wrong direction. So use your box up, work through those notes, work through that research. Each section is also going to tell you what your paragraphs should be and when to start a new paragraph. Okay, add an extra paragraph for important events. So if the theme has changed, you're now talking about a different event in that person's life, new paragraph. Okay, so remember paragraphs. If the theme, if you're talking about something different or the time has changed, then we move to a new paragraph. Okay, you could have quite a few paragraphs here by the end of it. So remember, keep referring back to your box up. That should be full of wonderful, wonderful information that you've researched offline. Okay, so a reminder, you're writing the biography of William Shakespeare. You're telling me all about him. Using the research and the box up, write your biography. Take your time. Please, please do a good job of this. This is your last piece of writing before we get back into the classroom. You've got today and Friday to wrap this up. So the equivalent of 2 sessions, plus anything else you want to put into it. But I'm expecting you to put in at least 2 sessions worth writing. I do not want some little half-page bit of scribble. You're better than that. You're year 5. I want to see some quality writing, please. You can get all your information online. All I want you to do is turn it into your own words, create your own sentences, your own paragraphs. Okay. Remember, use that toolkit. Not just the grammar tools, but the box up as well. All different sections. I'm looking forward to reading these. I mean, I know a little bit about William Shakespeare, but I'm expecting to be surprised. I'm expecting to find out something new that I didn't know before. Okay. That's the end of today's lesson. You take care of yourselves, look after those around you, and I am going to see you very, very soon.